I have no idea how I really want to start this video, so we're just gonna dive right into it. As some of you are probably already aware, we've played a number of video games on this channel throughout its history. But today we're going to be doing something a little bit different, a little bit the same, a little bit different, because I have right here a Chocobo board game. A board game based on a video game. More specifically, it's based on Chocobo's Dungeon, a spin-off series of the Final Fantasy series, in which you play as a Chocobo, and generally most of the gameplay involves exploring dungeons, caves, forests, whatever, looking for treasure, or just going on whatever assorted quest the story demands at any given point in time. And that is roughly the premise of this game as well. You play as Chocobo, and you have to delve into the depths of a dungeon and collect resources and spells and try to make it to the end without dying and defeat the boss at the bottom of the dungeon. It's a cooperative game, 1 to 4 players, and I thought it would be interesting to sort of mix things up a bit if I were to play it here today. Especially for anybody who has seen the game and was curious about it and how it plays before making a purchase themselves, or who have never even heard of it and might be interested. Sometimes the best way to discover something that you would like is through a YouTube video. I've certainly discovered video games and other such things that way, so maybe this can be that for you. Either way, we're doing it. Now we just need to get things set up and also reposition the camera into a way that will view the game board a little bit better. Alright, I've got everything set up. Here is the overview of our game board. The lighting, especially on the board itself, is terrible, so I'll probably be holding the camera throughout much of this, or at least trying to. If that doesn't work out, I'll put it back on the tripod. But just a quick rundown on how we start the game. We've got this over here. This red marker is our health. If that hits 0, we get a game over. This is our food marker. It starts at 5, it can max out at 15. We can eat food at any point in time, so long as we have the correct command available. And then we reduce this to draw more cards. And that's important because we need cards to perform actions, but also because if you run out of cards in your hand and can't play any cards, you also lose. Over here we have the board. We have our Chocobo icon. This represents the players. And we also have the Grim Reaper icon, who moves along this meter at the top, and if he reaches the end, that's also a way to lose. So there are 3 ways to lose in this game. Either you run out of health from taking damage from traps or monsters, you don't have enough cards to play during a turn, or the Reaper reaches the end of his track. And to win at this game, we need to delve through the floors of the dungeon and make it to the bottom, where we will fight the boss at the end. Over here we have monster cards. We will draw those as needed to summon monsters to the dungeon that will try to impede us. Over here are spell books. We can use those to cast spells as we acquire them. These are damage markers for showing how injured monsters are. These are Gishal greens or Gisal greens, whatever, that we can use when we receive certain rewards to increase our food meter. And it's just a deck of cards. We're going to be playing the game on easy. I'll put the stats up on the screen right now. There are 3 difficulty modes you can play. Easy, normal, and hard. Actually, we're going to be doing normal because you can't do easy with only 1 player, as it shows on the chart. There's also variations to the dungeon itself. There's an easy version and a hard version for the 2nd and 3rd floors. No variation for the 1st floor, so that's just as it is. We're also keeping floors 2 and 3 as the easier versions, One, because I've never actually beaten this game either with other people or by myself, and also just for the sake of keeping things in this video a little simpler. So because we are playing on normal with one person, we start the game, first of all, by getting 10 cards and 2 spell books. So we draw 10 cards, and we get 2 spell books. We've got a heal and a heal. We can use these at any point in time to replenish health equal to the value on the book. There's other spells in the game as well, but we'll cover those if we see them. Normally, you would keep your hand to yourself when playing with multiple people, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to just put all the cards face up in front of me just so they're easier for everyone to see. I'm going to move this up a little bit, give myself a bit more space for my hand. So here is our initial setup. As we can see on our cards, each card has 2 numbers in the upper left corner, a actual number and a count of footprints that can be anywhere from 1 to 5. We'll go over that stuff as we play out our first turn. Okay, so at the start of the turn, the first thing we need to do is play monsters. If we look up here, that shows right there, that shows which monster cards we need to play. Yellow cards are weak monsters, red cards are strong monsters. So if you look there, we need 2 yellow monsters. So 2 yellow monsters that come into the dungeon, a Flan and an Araman. Looking up on the cards, the heart shows how much health the monster has, deal that much damage and it's defeated. The upper right number displays how much the monster will hurt us if the monster is still present in the dungeon at the end of the turn. And at the bottom, it shows us the reward for defeating the monster. In the case of these 2, defeating the Flan will restore 1 hit point. Defeating the Araman will add a spell to our spellbook, but we can only have, or it'll give us a spellbook rather, but we can only have 3 spellbooks total at any given point in time. So our turn begins and we need to choose a card. This part of the turn varies a little bit depending on the number of players. If you're playing alone, the first thing you need to do is choose a card to play. And we are trying to line the cards up on this wheel to determine what our actions are for the turn. Each of these icons represents a different action. The number on the card determines the order of those actions, while the number of footprints determines the power of the action. So first I want to kind of look at the board, look at the dial, look at my cards, and try to decide which card I would want to land where based on their values. So like if I look at this, moving 3 spaces would be decent because I could land there and get another spell book. And this card allows us to move 3, or gives us a power of 3, and the number is 2, so unless the 1 card ends up being drawn, this card's pretty much guaranteed to go first. So I'll place this card. I'll just put it over there for the time being because that's kind of where I want it to be. And now, because I am playing alone, I draw 2 bonus cards from the deck, and those will be added to this as well. And then I will have to play 2 more cards from my hand. We've got this card and this card. So at present, those would go like that. So as we're looking at this turn, this is currently what will happen, but I still have to play 2 more cards. If you're playing with other people, you would be doing this the same sort of process as well, except you would play the bonus card first, and then the players would have to discuss what cards they want to use based on where they want them to land and the power levels of the cards. And you would want to look at like your health, how many cards you have, blah, blah, blah. So let's look over my hand and see what we want to do real quick. Okay, so this is our first round. If we were playing with multiple people, there would be a bit more blind guesswork and hoping that things work out. Usually when I'm playing with people, we tend to manage that fairly well, so the cards usually go where we want, but we've had a few instances where they don't. So long as you communicate well, you'll usually get the results that you want. So now these are the actions for the round. If we look at these icons on the board, they each represent a certain action. The red kicking action is for attacking monsters. The blue running action is for moving. The green eating action is to eat, to draw more cards. And then we have the Reaper icon, which causes the Reaper to move. And if there are two actions on one spot, then you can choose which of the two actions you want to perform. In this case, I want to move, so we move by a power of 3, which allows us to move 3 spaces. Back over at the board, we can move 3 spaces in any direction. We just can't move back and forth. We can move one direction and then move the other direction the next turn, and our goal is to make it over here to the staircase, to make it down to the next floor, and then we can continue on to the next floor. And if we can make it down to the 4th floor, we reach the boss and then have to fight the boss. So I am going to move down to here. And because I landed on a book, I get a random spell book. We got Fire. Fire spell can be cast to hit an enemy for the damage that it says. So I could use that to immediately defeat the Flan. I don't want to defeat the Flan yet though, because I don't want the heal really to go to waste. Well, the heal's gonna heal me for 1. He's gonna hit me for 1, so all healing would really do is undo the damage that he's dealing. So it really doesn't matter that much either way. So now we move on to action number 2, which is the Reaper. And that has a power of 2, so the Reaper moves 2 spaces. And again, if the Reaper reaches the end, then it's game over. Third action is movement for 4, so we can move 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We land on a Gisal green, which means we get one of these at random. We found 3 greens. So now we can move this up 3. Next action is attack or eat. I am going to choose eat to draw more cards. So with a power of 4, I get to draw 4 more cards. And for the last action of the turn, we have the Reaper at 1. So he moves 1 more space. That was the end of the round. Now, since the round ends, any monsters that are present damage us for their damage values. Both of them have a damage value of 1. Our health drops down to 7. Now what we need to do is we need to discard the 5 cards that were used for that round. And now the dial moves 1 space clockwise. And then the start of the next round, we draw 2 more monsters. The monsters that are present do not go away, so monsters can really start getting carried away if you're not careful. We've got a Goblin and a Sahagin. And that's basically the game in a nutshell. The rules change a little bit if you reach the boss, but we're just gonna keep going and see how far we get. So let's see, these are my cards. First of all, I feel like I want to try to consider which of these I want most and roughly where I would like whatever action to land where. With 11, I could guarantee that 17 is the second option unless I get 2 numbers lower. I think I want to go kind of mid-ish for the start. I think we're gonna start with 63 because I would like this. If this lands at the end with the attack, I can use it to get rid of the Goblin. And if it lands on move, then I could use it to land on the Gisal green to get another one of those. Whoops, I forgot to do something. I drew 4 cards last time, so that means this is supposed to drop by 4. So that goes from 8 to 4. I forgot to do that when I was drawing my cards because I was kind of wrestling with a bit of a mess down here. Alright, so let's draw our 2 bonus cards. We got that and that. Oh wow, both really high. So those are very likely going to go there and there. 63 could go there. So far we're looking at this. what do I want out of these? I want to use that to attack something. So I want the second card to be able to take out something over there. It can be pretty much anything. I'm looking at the board, counting spaces, trying to decide where I want to move. I think I am going to take my 11 and put it here, and then take my 17 and put it there. So first things first, I'm going to use my fireball spell that gets discarded to take out the flan. That restores 1 health. Then I'm going to move my 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get one of these. 4. This goes up to 8. And then we are going to use the attack 4 to take out the Araman. Do 4 damage to the Araman. He gets discarded. We get a new spell. A move spell, or I think the game just calls it move, but I like to think of it as haste. But you can cast that spell at any point in time to move that number of spaces on the board. Third action, Reaper moves 2. Fourth action, we get to move 3. Okay, so that will put us on a spell book, but we already have the max of 3. So I'm going to use a spell. If you have too many spells, and you draw one, you have to discard one. So I'm going to use the heal spell, get our health back up to 9, just so this doesn't go to waste. And we've got a lightning spell. The lightning spell deals damage to all monsters equal to the spell's value. So that's a really strong one. So for our last action, we can attack for 3, and I'm going to get rid of the Sahagin. Sahagin gets discarded, and we get 2 Gisal greens. So our food meter moves up to 10. That's the end of the round. The goblin smacks our chocobo for 1 damage. Our health goes back down to 8, and we move on to the next round. Draw 2 more monsters. We've got another flan, and we've got another goblin. And now once more, these cards will be discarded, and then we will move the dial and repeat that process. The dial moves. And now we have these actions to perform. Okay, and I think I already kind of see what I want to go for, because we are almost done with this floor. So I'm kind of looking at my cards, and I think I roughly see what I would like to do, although it's going to be really difficult to do with these cards. I actually don't think I can do it. At least not very well. We'll see what happens though. It'll depend a lot on the bonus cards I get, but I'm going to use my 56 card. And I'm hoping for really high bonus cards, because I want this to be first. We've got a 98, that's good. And a 41. That's not what I wanted, but it's still the right value, so it'll accomplish what I'm thinking. This is definitely going at the end, but that's not even going to matter. This I'm going to be trying to get there, and that can go there. Now, what cards do I basically want to throw away? Or am the most okay with throwing away? Well, hang on. No, I want to use 54 to move 56 there. And put that there, and then this has to be after 56. 59, sure. So here is the turn. And the reason for that is, first of all, I wanted a 3 in the first action so we can attack that flan. And we get our health back. The camera's not on that, but we get our health back. Second action, we are going to eat 2 of our greens. This goes down to 8. We draw 2 cards. We get the number 5 and the number 100. There's 100 cards in the deck, 1 through 100. The numbers in the upper left corner are never repeated. There's only 1 card in the deck for each number value. But as far as the power levels go, those only go from 1 through 5. So for the third action, we are going to be moving 3, which will land us on the stairs, and we move to the next floor. A few things happen when you move floors. First of all, the round ends. So everything past this, everything for the remainder of the round doesn't happen. That round is just over. Secondly, all monsters that are currently on the field are immediately defeated. You do not receive the rewards for them because you didn't actually slay the monsters. You basically just got to the stairs and circumvented them. And also, when we go to the next floor, the death icon will start back at the beginning. If you had to go through all 3 floors without him reaching the end on one stretch, I feel like it would basically be impossible. So let's set up the stuff. Actually, hold on, I can do that a little bit better. Let's go back here real quick. I think I can do this a little bit better because I can use this to kill one of the goblins, get 2 more food. Next action goes off, death moves 2. As I just explained, that won't matter in a second because this card will let me move 1, and then I can use my move spell to move 2. I'm down a spell, but now I have more food, so basically I'm trading a spell book for a little bit more food, so I'm deciding to go with that. You could do it either way, really. It's just a matter of how you want to manage your resources going through the game. Especially because you need to make sure that not only you're getting through the floors, but you also have enough resources to get through the coming floors in addition to your current one. So now we move the board to the 2nd floor. So now we have a whole new floor. We've entered into a water cavern, and if we flip the board, we have 2F star, which is just a harder version of the 2nd floor. And you can do any combination of star floors or standard floors. The only one that doesn't have a difficulty setting is the 1st floor. The 1st floor will always be the same. As we can see on this floor though, not only is the floor more complex, but things are also going to be getting a little bit more dangerous because now we have to start dealing with stronger monsters. Every round we are going to be running into a normal monster and a strong monster. Let's draw those real quick. Our normal monster is another Sahagin, and our strong monster is an Iron Giant. Tons of health. They also give better rewards though. They're just harder to take out. They could sometimes hit for harder. So once again, let's consider our options. 5 isn't looking very good because that would move the Reaper really far. Moving or attacking for only 1 wouldn't be super useful, but if I could get the 1 on the Reaper card, that would be good. I think I'm going to use my 46 and then draw my 2 bonus cards, which are 9. That sucks, but I can fix that. And 1, which fixes that for me. So we've got 1. 1 will automatically be there. As of right now, 9 is there. So this is what we're currently looking at. 5 on that honestly isn't terrible because that could deal a lot of damage to that Iron Giant. 1, moving only 1 isn't super exciting, especially because I'm surrounded by 2 traps. Let's see, what do I want? First of all, what do I want the Reaper's card to be? Not 76, probably, put 32 there, 46 there, 23, no, wait. Let's try this setup. First action, Reaper moves 2, took care of that. Second action, I can either fight or eat for 5. I am going to use this opportunity to just take out the Sahagin. Sahagin only has 3 health, hit him for 5, he's done. And I get this, and I get my food counter up to 12. So that's really high. I don't really need to worry too much about food anymore right now. Next action is move or eat. I have enough cards to get through the next round, but I'm going to have to eat the next turn because I only have 4 cards left in my hand. And I want to move 2 to get that spell book. Spellbook, be good to me. A heal for 2. That's a better heal than what I'd gotten before. Next action is, let's see, where can I move if I chose to move? I could get a blank space. I could get a death space, which moves death. I could get blank. I could get a spell book that doesn't help me. I think I want to use this attack. For 5 damage, I want to use the attack to beat the shit out of this Iron Giant. It won't kill him because he has 6 health, but he's now down to 1. And then for the last action, the Reaper moves 1. So the Reaper has moved up 3 for this round. Now the Iron Giant hits us for 1. Our health goes down to 8. And now we clear the board and go again. Cards have been discarded. The wheel has been rotated. Our next 2 monsters, again, we need a weak and a strong. We've got an Araman and a Magic Jar, which is just a weaker version of the Iron Giant in every way. Just less health, but otherwise exactly the same. All right, now what do I want out of this? I don't think I want to play the 100. I'm gonna start with the 65. It's nice in the middle, and then I can strategize around the bonus cards based on what those are, which they are 18 and 71. So currently I'm looking at this. I think I'm okay with death moving 3. I don't think there's not really anything I could do about that. The 5 wouldn't change that. I think I'm gonna use the 76 and the 100. So we get this. Wait. Yeah. Well... No, I'm gonna use the 5 and the 100. So I can get the 76, which has higher power, to an attack. So we're gonna look like this. So, where's my 100? Okay, so, first action... Wait. No. No, I'm gonna keep the 5. Yeah, I'm gonna keep the 5. I'm gonna go like this because I need cards. And yeah, this is what I want. So the first action, I am going to use that to attack the Araman for 3. Now there, death moves 3. Death has moved 3. Next action is attack or eat for 3. I'm going to eat for 3. So our meter goes down to 9, and I get to draw 3 cards. We've got the 24, 75, and 28. A lot of weak cards, but sometimes weak is what you need. Sometimes you want the weak stuff, especially if you're trying to get them to land on death, or if you only want to move 1 space to land to a safe spot. And then for this, we're going to eat again, bring our food reserves to 5 to draw 4 more cards. 33, 49, 29, 39, and then the last action I am going to use to attack the magic jar, and then after I've done that, I'm going to use my lightning bolt spell to hit all the enemies for 2 damage, taking out all 3 of them, which means I will get 8 food, bringing that back up to 13, and thanks to the Araman, I also get to draw a spell to replace the lightning bolt, which is a fire spell. I didn't really get any moving done on that turn, so death is going to start becoming a problem. But I've set myself up for a good while, I think, for other stuff, so long as I can stay alive. So let's discard those monsters, discard the cards, and get our new monsters and everything set up. Alright, so for our 2 monsters, we have a Sahagin and the embodiment of death itself. Ultimate destruction incarnate. Judgment Day is at hand, and its name is that knife. I was trying to make it something epic, but then the blur kind of completely took the wind out of my sails. So yeah, we've got a Tonberry. I mean, it's not as dangerous in this game, but anybody who's familiar with Final Fantasy, just seeing one of those in any context sends a shiver down your spine. All right, so this turn, I think we need to start moving because we're not even halfway across this board yet. And death is already halfway to us. And next round, we're gonna be back to double death icons. So I feel like here I really need to try to sprint through this. At least try to make some speedy progress. So I'm going to use this 24 and hope it lands kind of where I want it. What are our bonus cards? 92, 35. So far, we are looking at this. Let's see, how do I want to change this? First of all, where will that 5 land me? Okay, I can land somewhere safe with the 5 that is also getting me on the right track. I can get there, which will get me close to the exit, but I'll still need a couple turns to get there. So let's see, what else do I want to do? If I can hit the Sahagin for 3, that'll take him out. So 35 is in a good spot. If I can put 49 there, 49 there is good. These are the spaces where you want those 1s. Either that or if you want to only move 1 space on the board to a specific spot, or if 1 damage can finish off a weakened monster. But what do I know? I've never actually beaten this game, so maybe I have no clue what the hell I'm talking about. And then I'm thinking 75. Yeah. Let's look at the... I like this. This looks good. Wait. Yeah, this looks good enough to me. It's not ideal. I would like this to have a power of 2, but I don't think I can really make that work. Okay, so first action, we're moving 5. Make some progress in this dang place. Next is attack 3. I am going to use that to just get rid of the Sahagin. Get him out of here. So the Sahagin is gone. We max out our food at 15. Next, death moves 1, whatever. I guess I'll eat 1. Dealing 1 damage to the Tonberry doesn't seem particularly exciting. So bring our food down to 14 and get 1 card. Which is that. And then lastly, we can move 2 and land on that death space, which will move him 2. That'll put him dangerously close. We could end up screwed if we can't move far enough. I think I'm just gonna eat 2. I don't believe there's a hand limit when playing with other people, but if you're playing by yourself, then you have a hand limit of 12 cards, and you have to start discarding if you go over that. Alright, so there's that turn. The Tonberry hits us for 2, so we are now down to 6. So long as it's not at 0, our health is just a resource to spend. Alright, we've got 2 more monsters. For our strong monster, we have a Lamia, and for our weak monster, we have a Cactuar. So what do we want? We need death to not move very far. 5 would be a bad card because that would move it far. I don't want 28 to land there. 53... I'm gonna start with 53. That seems like a safe middle number that could possibly land on 3 or 4, and that would be a good card to land on either of those. Really what I'm hoping for is for my bonus cards to both be above 28. That's good. And that's good. Okay. That's good because now I can play 28 and guaranteed put it there, which is what I want. And then at present, everything else would put a 40 there, 53 there, 94 there. Oh, I have 97. So I could keep that... But 97 isn't really useful there because of how much health all the enemies have. Let me think. These numbers just are not working in my favor because I would have liked to get a 4. But I want a 4 there because I want to move 4. But the only amounts I can move, I feel like, are 2, which will put him land on the Reaper space, or 5, which will put me on the trap and deal damage. If it goes on the Reaper space, though, then that's really risky because then I have to move enough on that last go Otherwise, I lose. I think I'm gonna go for that though, just because I don't want to take more damage. Because I'm gonna be taking way too much damage this round from all those monsters because there's not really much I can do about them. Although I have spells. I have spells to take some of them out, and I can also heal myself. It's a hard call. I am going to take that gamble. It's a risky move, but I'm just gonna have to go for it. Also, my battery's starting to get kind of low, so I just need to get the game going. So, 28, the death guy moves 1. Then for my next action, I move 2 spaces. That moves me onto this death icon, which moves him 2. Next action is that. I am going to use that to attack the Tonberry. Yes, attack the Tonberry for 2. Tonberry takes 2 damage. And then I am going to use my fire spell to blast the Tonberry for another 3, so he gets defeated. And I get to draw a spell, which will hopefully be useful. More healing. Goody. I mean, I'm about to take damage, so healing is good. Next action, death moves 1. He is now 1 space away from causing game over. And then that, smacking either of them isn't going to be useful, so I'm just going to eat to draw 1 more card that will hopefully be helpful. That is the worst card I could draw. Okay, so that's the turn. Okay, so this is where I am. We are right on the brink of death, literally, because if he moves at the second action, then it's over because he's 1 space away. We've got a couple more monsters. We got a magic jar and a cactuar, but they're not relevant. We need a 4 or a 5 right here. Otherwise, we lose. We have 2 cards that would qualify for that. These 2, but 39 is kind of low, but 69 is pretty high. I would rather not have to rely on that. And both of these are useless. We cannot put either of those in that first spot. So I'm going to play card 97, because that's basically guaranteed to be at the end, because I think we've already seen both 98 and 100. I know we've seen 100 and maybe 99, so that's pretty much guaranteed to be at the top. So what we are hoping for is either a really strong low number to land in that spot, or any cards that are above number 39, because then 39 can go in that spot and we're in the clear. We've got 42. That's good. And we've got 61. Okay. So we're basically in the clear because I can put 39 right there and move to the next floor. Wait, I forgot to do my take my damage from the last turn. Hold on. Our health is down to 3 because we took 3 damage from the Lamia and the Cactuar. I was so focused on the whole death situation that I forgot to do that. So basically, I'm throwing away one of these cards. Except for those 2. It can't be those 2 because they're lower than 39. It also can't be 33 because that's also lower than 39. So basically, I have to throw away 69 and just put that there. Because we've got this, which will move us 5, which is enough to get to the next floor. Okay, 3rd floor. Monsters go away, death resets, the round ends. Alright, we are at the 3rd floor, which is a volcanic area. And like with the 2nd floor, there's 2 different variations of it. And if we get past this floor, we'll make it to the boss at the end. And if we defeat the boss, we win. Things aren't looking too great over here. We have plenty of food, not much health, but we have a lot of healing spells to spare us from death, from losing health if we need to use those. So let's go. Now on the 3rd floor, we get into the most dangerous territory because now we have two strong monsters that we need to draw each turn. We've got ourselves a bomb and a tonberry. Bomb isn't too dangerous. It's easy to kill because it only has 3 health, but it hits hard. And for how strong it is, it doesn't really have that great of a reward. Tonberry is definitely the bigger threat, but what else is new when comparing those two monsters? All right, we are low on cards though, so we need to draw this turn. So let's see what we've got. We actually have to use our entire hand because we only have 3 cards. So let's just do that. There's no thinking in this. We get our 2 bonus cards and then we just put the cards in order because that's what we've got. So we are looking at this, and honestly, I kind of like what I'm seeing. It's not perfect, but this is not, for having no choices to make, this is not a terrible outcome. First of all, we can move 1. Moving 1 isn't terrible. It will get us some food. We get 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring us up to the max of 15. Food is much more important when playing by yourself because you're going through your cards so much more quickly. When you're playing with 4 players, the food is not nearly as difficult to manage because each player is only playing 1 card each turn instead of 3. So you're going through about the same amount of cards, but they're much more spread out. And you have a higher total because each player has their own hand of cards. So you're not nearly as often needing to worry about running out of cards. Second action is attack or move. Moving would land us there. That's not ideal. I'm just gonna attack the bomb just to get it out of here. Hit the bomb for 3. He goes away. We can't get any food because we're full, but I got a monster taken care of. So that's worth it. Next, death moves 2. Next, we move 1, which lands us on a trap, which deals us 2 damage. We are now at 1 health, but that's okay. We can cast some healing spells. And now with this, we have to eat. So bring our food down to 10 and we draw 5 cards. What have we got? Okay, we've got these. Now I'm going to use all 3 of my heal spells because we're so low on health to heal 4. Get us up to 5. And then the round ends, so Tonberry hits us for 2, bringing us down to 3. Our health situation is not good. Alright, we've got a bomb and an iron giant. That's a total of 5 damage coming in, and we are only at 3 health, so we have to take out some of these guys somehow. Otherwise, we're dead this turn. And we only have 2 chances to attack. And some of these just aren't strong enough to be able to take these guys out. So I'm just going to throw down the 45 and then see what bonus cards we get and work off those. We got 7, that's a game over. And we've got 16. So this is what we're looking at. And that'll only deal 1 damage. That will deal 4. We can get rid of the Tonberry and then we die. We can get rid of the bomb and then we die. It's game over right here because I don't have any cards I can put before that. And even if I keep this here, that's only a total of 5 damage. And I don't have any spells. So what'll happen is I can hit any enemy for 1. It won't matter. It won't any of them. If I hit there's still a chance. It will depend on what spell I draw from the Tonberry. 100%. So no, it's not game over yet, but I need to play cards that are all after 45, which gives me a few options. I can play 81, and between 87 and 83, it doesn't really matter because they're both the same. So I'll just do 83. Okay, so this is what needs to happen. The 1 needs to attack the Tonberry. Deal 1 damage to the Tonberry. And then this will move me 1 to a safe spot. And now this deals 4 damage to the Tonberry, getting rid of the Tonberry. And now the only way I can win is if the spell I draw is either a heal spell that can bring me out of death range or a fireball spell to get rid of the bomb. So it all boils down to what spell I draw. And I'm gonna go with this one. We got a move spell. That doesn't win me the game. And I can't use that because that would allow me to move a total of 6 spaces this turn. That does not help me win. If I could land on that to get a different spell, that would work, but I'm 1 off because I'm moving 5. So yeah, that's game over. Because I can't get rid of both of them, and they're going to deal 3 damage to me. So what would happen is Death would move 1, and then I would move 5. Doesn't really matter which direction I move. I can get food this way, so I'll just do that. So I would get one of these, 3, that goes up to 13, but then the turn ends. The Iron Giant hits for 1, the bomb hits for 2, our health goes down to 0, and bleh. That's game over. And there you have it. That was Chocobo's Dungeon, the board game. If we had made it to the end, you confront a boss battle against either Behemoth or Omega, whichever one you want to choose. Obviously, for anybody who is familiar with Final Fantasy, you know that Omega is going to be harder. He has more health and more abilities. And even though the rules do change up a little bit, when you get to the boss, it's still fundamentally the same game. It's just rather than racing to the end of the floor to get to the next floor, you have to fight the boss and reduce its health down to 0 in order to win. There's also fewer monsters that you have to worry about, and the function of the Reaper token changes slightly, not only directly chasing you to try to kill you, rather than having a path that it has to go down to do that, but it also determines the effects and damage of the boss attacks based on where it lands on the board. But then I guess that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed this video, do the YouTube things, and I'll see you next time.